Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel. I'm here again with Superfang. Let's talk about Heart of the Elders Part B, or Part 2.
Yeah,
And so
B
we've...
or two.
it's like the second one.
I
And
know.
so the end of the last one, we should say that we managed to solve the puzzle, and we enter into the cave of Kenyan. And the way that the one ended, which we should kind of repeat here, I'm going to go over to TTS so we can talk about it, is that we can't really alter our decks or spend any experience points between the two because this is really kind of like one. It's not the same scenario, but it's one story. It came out in one Mythos pack, so there's some special rules here. It says you may not spend experience or alter your decks between these two scenarios. Hmm. It ends
Yeah,
up
I
that
guess it's
at the end of this in part B, you have a ton of experience points to spend, and we'll talk about that later. But there's another thing that carries over. What's that?
yeah, it's all the Vengeance X cards that were in the Victor display last scenario. Um, TTS luckily gives you all of them here.
Hmm.
Basically, all of the at least in the base one, it's the serpents and the basilisks that you could have gotten killed.
Yes. So on your last playthrough, when you finally advance that hack and have 6 pillars, anything that was then in the Vengeance display, in the Victory display as Vengeance, carries over, and you put it immediately into your Victory display.
Yep.
So
So
you have victory or vengeance uh, greater than 0. So something like the Brood of the Egg here already has a buff.
yep, exactly.
Interesting. Okay, we'll be getting some more opportunities for Yig's Fury in this one as well.
Hmm. And I guess why don't we just go right into it? Started the Mouth of Kenyan and we had to first make our exploration deck. So we have 5 locations this time, as well as 4 more encounter cards in the exploration deck.
Hmm.
2 of these we've already seen. Actually, in fact, 3 of them we've already seen, and a new encounter card that we will talk about when we get to the encounter cards.
Hmm.
We're starting at the Mouth of Kenyan, the other side, the side with clues on it, and this is a cave this time. And as of note, all the locations in this one are caves, meaning that the scenario reference card, which is shared between the 2 scenarios, the skulls are now always -3.
It is kind of
Except,
important to point this out. Like I've played where someone else was setting the scenario up in paper, mind you, and they were like, "Where's the mouth of Kenyan?" Thinking
you're
that the
right.
the symbol there was for the other
Yeah.
scenario, and it's really...
Yes.
I think that's less of a problem nowadays because they tend to, in the boxes with Edge of the Earth and Scarlet Keys, and I assume Hemlock Vale, the I think the agenda and act tend to have like a different counter set than like the locations sometimes because they reuse them in different ways than the old model.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah. And yeah, you're supposed to know that by the subtitle. In the previous one, it's the caverns maw, and this one is the
Hmm.
depths beneath. I wish that they changed the image. That would be interesting.
Yeah, why couldn't they just like switch the colors or something, made it darker
Exactly.
so it's like
Exactly.
nighttime maybe?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, like the Doom of Eztli, we can filter the exploration deck if you have a map. In the Doom of Eztli, that was torches. I believe though it's the same effect basically.
Hmm.
So that's cool. And we are gonna start exploring. We need 3 per clues to advance. We oh yeah, sorry. Important new thing for exploration. Yay. So this is the first scenario that has this. You'll notice this is very important because they don't remind you of this. You have to just make sure you get this. It now says if there are no clues on your location, explore. Very, very important.
Yeah, it's just kind of sitting there as a cost that you may not
Yeah.
see because
I
sometimes
I
Explorer doesn't
really
say that.
wish
Yeah.
I really wish they had a reminder text for something like this in the setup. Cause like I can't imagine so many people being like, okay, it's just normal Explorer again, it has an action Explorer, and they never read the condition for it.
If this
Like
happened to you, let us know in the comments because I totally agree.
yes. All right, moving on from that, it has the same force effect as the Doom of Ezfleet, where Doom on locations remain on them when the agenda advances. So, kind of in the previous scenario, we kind of repeated the Untamed Wilds, and in this one, we might be repeating Doom of Ezfleet, but there are going to be a lot of new things in this one as well. So, yeah, I think
Like
it's
new
pretty cool.
locations. Look,
Indeed.
let's look at those.
Speaking of, yeah, we're just going to explore as we go. So, I think this is one. Is that right? No, it's not.
Nope.
Okay, moving on. Is that one?
Nope.
No. Okay, they're backwards. That's
There
yeah.
we go.
All
All
right, we
right.
got the perilous goal. Oh yeah, I remember this one. Victory 1, 4-star 1 per clues. After you fail a skill test while investigating the perilous gulch, if no one has rope, play the doom on perilous gulch. The cliffside is getting worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I like it's. It's cool. Love it.
It's cool, but
Yep.
it's only if you fail. So just don't fail.
Yeah. Don't fail. We got the Dark Hollow. So after it enters play, check your supplies. If no one has a map, put an additional 1 per clues on Dark Hollow. So to end as victory 1. This card is cool. I actually I like this. Like normally I like we talked about having how the supplies should have been benefit effects. This one's like a cool negative one because it's just like, oh yeah, you need your map to navigate the Dark Hollow, so there's more clues to get. But more clues means you can advance the act sooner potentially. So
It's interesting because you don't have to explore from here, right? So if
yeah,
don't have a map and you say I can't get those clues right now or don't want that victory point right now or at all, you can just go back and maybe explore again and go this direction.
yeah, um, yeah. And as a reminder, remember that there has to be no clues on a location for you to explore from it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually had a thought, which is I think that in like an alternate universe, that's how explore should have been to begin with, where there had to have been no clues on it. Um, and like just make sure that there's more ways to get to the locations because I really like the if there you have to do it if there's only no clues because you're right, it's a very interesting choice. You can be like, okay, we'll head back to the mouth to find a new location, or you press on and try to get all the clues. And again, the perilous gulch is like, yes, we need all the clues you want to explore, but it's perilous, so you might fail.
Hmm. Yeah, I have to think about that some more. I think you're right. It does feel better. And like the other scenario that does this, by the way, is one of the best ones in the game.
Right.
But I do like that there's a different. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the other one scenarios would have looked like,
Hmm.
especially in Untamed Wilds. I think it might be really hard. It's already very
Right.
hard if
That's
you
true.
are trying to get out of locations. This one, they give you a lot of time as well.
That's true.
Anyway,
The vast passages. So, as an additional two star 1 per clues, as an additional cost for you to explore while at vast passages, if no one has binoculars, you must spend an additional action.
fine.
That can be pretty buff, but yeah,
I like this map, by the way.
yeah.
It feels very like there's options, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's two more locations that we can go to at the beginning of the scenario.
Yep. We got the crystal pillars. 1 star 2 per clues, victory 1 force. After you enter it, you have to test willpower 1 plus +1 difficulty for each vengeance point in the victory display. If you fail, take a damage and a horror. It does not scale with the how much you fail by, which is good. Um, and yeah, I mean it's cool.
It's a lot of clues, but one shroud, that's good.
Pretty
Everyone
good.
can help out.
Yep. We got the Hall of Idolatry. 3 star 2 per clues, victory 1. I love that all of these have victory 1.
Me too.
Right, I mean, to be honest, it looks so nice. Forests, after you put into play by successfully exploring, if there are 5 or more tally marks, you draw the top card in the encounter deck, top 2 if there are 10 or more. Yeesh.
Only once, though.
Only once.
This one over here is every time anyone enters.
Correct. Um, I think that I don't. Well, yes, I have had this one had to draw 2 cards. Um, but I think more often than not at this point, drawing 1 card is basically reasonable, if not given. Like it's very hard to get less than 5 at this point.
I agree.
And it's not that bad. Like, yes, you could draw an enemy. That's pretty bad. But like most of the enemies in this scenario don't like absolutely kill you if that happens. You might draw poisonous spores, and that could be bad.
Yes.
But
That's
yeah,
that's the worst thing, I think.
I think that is the worst.
There's very few enemies in the deck. Just these
Yeah.
five.
It's not like there's a pit viper that could just immediately poison you.
Right, exactly.
But the poisonous spores are basically a pit viper.
They kind of are.
Yeah.
I like these locations. Oh, one more thought about the actually wait, no. Let's do the last location first and then I'll give you my thought about the explorer with no clues.
Yeah, so after you spend your 3 per clues, we shuffle the Descent to Yoth into the exploration deck, and then we check if no one has chalk. If no one has chalk, You placed a clue on each location in play. Remember, all the clues need to be off a location or to explore from there. So you've kind of lost your way. I really like the flavor of this. It's really cool.
Me too. It also
Yeah.
moves investigators and enemies, so that can be a benefit, maybe.
Wow. Yeah. Move each enemy and investigator that was at that location to a connecting location nearest to the mouth of Kinyan. Whoa. That's cool.
I usually take chalk though, so this happens very rarely.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Anyway, we are now have to get to the Descent to Yoth, and there has to be no Doom on it. The Descent to Yoth at this point is in the exploration deck, and we'll just pull it out now. Boop. Connected this way. I really like the map because it's like you have multiple ways to get there, but it's not directly there, which is very nice.
Mm-hmm. This is very aesthetically pleasing to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has both Vengeance 2 and Victory 2, so you might want to get all the clues off. After it enters play, each investigator must either place a Doom on Descent to Yoth or draw the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. And after you successfully investigate Descent to Yoth, instead of discovering clues, you can flip 1 Doom to its clue side, and remember the goal is to get all the Doom off. What do you usually make that choice? How do you usually make that choice?
1 doom, please.
Yeah, it's like um, yeah.
We'll talk about
I
why in a second too, but
yeah, I mean, drawing 2 cards is pretty bad. And like as far as the Doom goes, like maybe I would like the only reason why I might not choose it if it would literally cause us next like this round to advance.
that's true.
But like if there's enough time, then there's no reason not to. Basically,
And there's a
it's
lot
kind
of time.
of the
There's so much time
kind
in
of the
this one.
kind of the boring choice, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening at this part of the scenario though is that you have the doom. You can remove the doom, turn to clues, and then you can just advance if you want. The condition here is if there's no doom on it, and you may advance though. You can choose to get those clues instead to get the victory and vengeance. One other funny thing though, this was what my comment was going to be from before. If you flip the doom to clues and you don't have all the other locations out already, you can no longer explore from Descent to Yoth to like this location.
Correct. That is true.
Which is just kind of funny. So clue drop, right, is interesting in this scenario. If you
Oh god.
you just have to do it at the right time, right?
Or I mean, I was gonna say clue movement is even more incredible.
No more
Move
Janae.
all the clues to the vast passages. Yes.
The one that doesn't have any victory points.
Yes.
Janae continues her continues her campaign of actually being an ancient one, right?
Yep.
Power unlimited.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Doom question. The encounter sets are full of Doom things, and if you hadn't guessed, the next agenda will say something about Doom. But let's get to the backside of this first.
Hey, the Harbinger shows up again. This time, if there are 8 or more tally marks, it goes into play with the lead investigator. Otherwise, it goes into play location farthest from all investigators. So we get the Harbinger back.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sick. That was a constant 7 Doom. The next one is 12 plus player Doom. That's a lot of Doom.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So honestly, making the Doom choice on that location is makes sense.
To me, usually there's plenty of time to run around the map and get all the clues.
Yeah, totally.
Just pick up your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 victory points.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of time here. Now, you can get a little messed up with the things that drop Doom if you do it too much before the agenda advances, I think. But otherwise, 12 is very generous.
Yeah, indeed.
12 plus, for that matter.
Right. It's kind of like it's 12, but it accounts for the fact that people are probably drawing cultists, so you're like per player dropping Doom and Ancestral Fear more often than not, etc.
Yeah.
All right, encounter cards?
Sure. So the new one is No Turning Back. It's another hazard.
Yeah. This is why I always take a pickaxe, baby. So investigators cannot enter or leave attached location. Importantly, you attach it to your location or a connecting location. So theoretically you could attach this to the mouth of Kenyon if you're not there,
Hmm.
because you don't want to go back there. And as an action, you have to test combat 3 or check your supplies. If you have a pickaxe, you just automatically succeed.
You
Or
know,
yeah, if you succeed, or if you have a
yeah,
pickaxe, you discard it.
not an automatic
Um,
success. You can't like commit scavenging or something,
right, of course. Um, and yeah, and
or
anyone at a
resourceful.
connected
Sorry.
location may do this.
Yeah.
This card's cool. I like it. I like it. I still always take a pickaxe if I don't have high fist, though. I don't know why.
Um, I think I probably do because you might as well give it to someone who doesn't have anything else to do.
Yeah,
But because like this is the one compared to the previous scenario where the fighters have a lot to do.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, might as well.
Yep.
And there's
All
three of
right.
them. The three of them is a lot.
There are 3 of them. There are a lot. We have seen all the other cards. Poisonous Spores in this scenario, as I talked about in the previous one, is a lot more cool because this scenario really forces you to press. And because you need to get all the clues off, there's a lot of real tension where you're like, okay, we got the Poisonous Spores. Can we get all the clues off and successfully explore? Or should we head back to safety? It's a really, really cool play pattern there.
I really like how the locations with extra clues are down here.
Yeah.
So you, if this drops here, you've got probably one or maybe two locations to get out
Mhm.
if this isn't already in play.
Yeah.
So the extra clues here isn't that big of a deal, although this one might have more clues on it as well.
Mhm.
So it plays really well in this scenario, but I also think it's pretty fair.
Yeah. Agreed.
Unless you draw it as like last action and there's something you can do,
Right.
then you should have a way to escape. But it is cool.
Yeah. Totally. All right. We've seen Pitfall before, of course.
Hmm.
Pretty cool. Same as always. More serpent stuff. Fang of Yig, Snake's Curse, Serpent's Call, poison kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Pretty standard. Even more serpents. Hey, you can kill these guys. Yay. This
Yay.
one actually doesn't have any vengeance at all, except for like the Ancestral Fear, but not through enemies.
Just the ones
So
from
as
the
you
previous
said,
scenarios. Yeah.
right, but in the victor display, I mean. So you can the fighters can go buck wild and just kill everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
which
right.
is very
You can
satisfying.
kill everything. Right.
Yes.
Okay.
But yes, they might have vengeance of their effects. Okay, classic Doom of Esley stuff, albeit not from Doom of Esley. Entombed and Final Mistake, pretty cool. Entombed is worse now because of Poisonous Spores.
Yes.
So it's a neat 2-card combo from the encounter deck there. So watch out for that.
I think Deep Dark also plays into that, right?
Indeed, yeah. Most likely, if you have a Kluver, they won't be able to get all the clues off with Deep Dark in play. And because of the way that the turns work, like if 2 people are at the same location and there's 2 clues there, then one of them will have to get a clue and leave. The other one could get the clue and then explore. But it means that you can't stick together.
Yep.
So very interesting card there.
I like it though. It makes you. We talked about this before, but like diversify a little bit as well.
Yep. Totally. Also, however, with Deep Dark, right, it doesn't prevent the Doom flipping to clues for Descent to Yoth, right? Because it just prevents more than one discovery.
True. True.
So you can flip as many Doom as you want on Descent to Yoth.
Yes. Okay. Ancestral Fear. I just don't want to draw it at the beginning, and then later. Totally
Okay.
fine. One Doom. I don't care.
Yep.
I never take the vengeance for this one.
Yeah, I think I one time took it just because it would have advanced us, but
Mhm.
it's normally fine.
Yeah. That's the scenario.
Yeah.
Maybe one more thing to say.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the ending.
Yep. So yeah, if
Um,
you do this, you flip. You may advance again. You can get as many victory points as you want. The may advance is a may. And there's other ways to drop Doom on Descent to Yoth, by the way. I should mention that. And you can just get the
totally.
you can get the Doom off. So if
Yeah.
that is sort of nice because the other locations you can't remove Doom as easily. All right, so if the investigators
Hold on, wait, sorry.
Oh.
I just realized. Moonlight Ritual 2?
Yeah, it's kind of silly in this scenario.
I didn't even realize that.
Yep.
That's nuts.
That removes Doom from any card at your location, which includes a location itself. It's a card.
God, it doesn't even turn them to clues either. It just removes them.
It just removes them. Yep.
Oh my god. You're just performing a ritual in front of a giant door and it opens.
And then out comes Alejandro.
Hey!
Okay.
Speaking of, so yeah, if you survived or not, sorry, if you rescued him or not, he's gonna show up here, even if he's missing. What? Um, both of these are kind of similar, but basically, Alejandro comes here and he kind of does something to you. Um, let's see. So actually, no, that's right. If Alejandro is missing, oh no,
He
that's
shows
right.
up.
He is here. He shows up still.
Yeah.
Basically, he's weird, and he's like, "Take their minds," and you're like, "What?" And then it ends with this very ominous quote of, "It is your last human memory." What the fuck?
I love that. I
Yeah,
that sticks in my mind every time I look at it again. Just like, cool. Let's go.
let's go. Yeah, I mean,
However,
it's
your last human memory may not be that. It may be adding a bunch of cards into your deck because you're allowed to do that.
yes. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get so much experience when I turn into
Well, you'll see.
yeah, yeah, turn into something.
Yep.
Anyway, Harbinger stuff, EX Fury experience. That's the end,
Mm-hmm.
and we are left on this very interesting cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Um, we didn't talk about these again, but they're the same as before, so I don't think there's much else to say.
Yeah. Other than the fact that skulls are now always -3,
Right.
and then the cultist interacts with the whole Doom stuff. That's
Yep.
about it.
Okay, cool. Let's go over talk about some ratings. So, last time we kind of hammered on replayability as being not Heart of the Elders A's strongest suit, if there is one for that scenario. This time, I don't know if things are super different, but I do have a good time playing it over and over again. What do you think?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I feel this one feels more replayable to me than um Heart of the Elders Part 1 at least. Um Maybe it's because there's new stuff going on, um as in new locations. Um I do agree. It pretty much feels the same each time for me. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you can draw poisonous spores and no turning back at different times, and that will change up how you go about moving through the scenario and exploring through the scenario. Um, but it mostly feels the same. Obviously, I have a good time playing through it, but it's mostly the same.
Yeah, no randomized locations, no. I don't know. There's very little that changes, I think, other than you might get this location first. You might not. So I think it's pretty middling on that one. I'm just going to give this like a 2.5. I enjoy playing it, but it does kind of feel like I'm just farming VP.
Totally. Um, I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
Pretty much same sentiment.
All right. We can make this one a much quicker video, maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
Fairness.
I think that this scenario is actually very fair. As you said, maybe if anything, it faults it in just giving you too much time, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, other than that though, like there's so many interesting choices with the, how far can we press before the poisonous spores get you? How do we deal with the encounter cards? But you can deal with them, and there are interesting choices there. Whether or not you take Doom or encounter cards for the Descent to Yoth, I think is an interesting choice as well. Again, I think mostly its issues are just the fact that it gives you way too much time.
Yeah.
Maybe to offset the first scenario.
Maybe the Harbinger showing up also gives you a couple options, right? Are you going to
Mhm.
just run around in circles, which is what I usually do? Do you just attack or evade the 2 times player times and then get rid of it? That's usually a good choice as well. Yeah, I think it's fine. It's just I think it could push you a little bit more at the end instead of just saying, "Would you like to advance or get all the VP?" Your choice.
Right. Indeed.
I'm gonna give this one like a 3, maybe 3.5. 3.5.
Oh yeah, I was gonna go to a 4. So I think that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go to the next one. Balance. This time, I just have to put a little shout out to the after you successfully investigate on the descent to Yoth. So you no longer do you
Yes.
have to worry about doing a intellect skill check or something.
Yes, exactly. So we do not have that problem.
Yeah. Which, could be okay, like, but the fact that you can put a whole lot of Doom on this location and get it off fairly easily is nice if you are just getting clues and you want to keep using your sixth sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think ultimately, the scenario is pretty balanced. Once again, you are getting clues to be able to explore, albeit you're getting clues for like a different reason. So even investigators that aren't participating a lot with getting clues can participate, which is really good for balance. Because you don't need to hoover them as fast as you need to, for example, in the other scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the fact you still need to explore after you do it. So,
Yeah, and a low
yep,
shroud location on like two of them, I think makes it pretty easy to chip in if you're uh, a fighter who says, okay, we need to explore, but I can get one clue totally fine.
totally. So yeah, I think I would probably give it. I don't. Okay, I'm trying to think. Is there any negatives to the balance? I honestly don't think so. I mean, I've said this literally like a million times now, but movement tech in this campaign, if not the entire game, is just busted.
Mm.
Um, like imagine Luke in this scenario, they can just go wherever they want. Um, so, but yeah, it's good. I would give it a 4 as well.
Okay, yeah, me too. Let's talk about the experience. So interestingly, we kind of said that the first scenario of this pack felt like a loop that went on forever, and it was replaying the first scenario in maybe too many ways. This one is an interesting blend of Doom of Etsley and a scenario that you haven't seen yet,
Yeah,
which I kind of like that idea, that it's introducing you this get rid of clues to explore mechanic while using encounter sets we've already seen, but new locations.
totally. I also love so much of the fiction of this scenario. The whole fact that you need to get all the clues off before you explore resonates so well with the locations themselves, and the locations themselves also have great effects. I mean, I talked about the Perilous Gulch, but I love the locations. And
Yeah.
there's kind of a similar location in the other scenario that you're talking about that I think you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that one always rings to me that like I love the ones that are just like they just resonate perfectly with the fiction of it. So it's good. And yeah, I think that like ultimately it is the same as Doom of Essley. We were going around exploring, but there is the new thing about the getting all the clues off. Like I feel like with this campaign, like the Forgotten Age is such a weird campaign because like the first half, really the only really standout good one is like Threads of Fate, and Doom of Essley is good as well. But I feel like in the back half of this campaign, starting with this scenario, every single scenario is really really cool. So like this one starts that, and I think it's really cool for that.
And I think we talked about the story a little bit here too as part of the fiction. The ending is really good.
Yep, totally.
What are you going to give it for a number?
I will give it a 3.5. I think that it's cool. Obviously, we're still seeing a lot of same stuff that we have seen the rest of the campaign, but ultimately, I think it's just really good.
So I think that it is indeed a victim of the old Mythos Pack model, where there's just one new encounter card here, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
unfortunate.
would. I wish they somehow were like. I wish they took this scenario and made it the whole Mythos pack, right? Like, I don't know if we needed the first one. Maybe the paths known would allow us to better traverse these locations as opposed to getting all the pillars on the previous one, right?
And I like the sort of they're repeating scenario one and two as kind of a here's how you get poison or here's how you get vengeance, and then the payoff for that is the next scenario.
Yeah.
I like that, but
Yep.
I think that they needed to make the scenarios a little better. Like if they didn't have the whole problem of we only can dedicate X number of cards for each scenario, I would like to see what they could have done.
Yep.
So 3.5 sounds right. I think that it could be more interesting, but ultimately they did a good job with what they had in this scenario.
Yep.
All right, 30 minutes. That's crazy. Let's talk about
Hey,
let's talk about the Return 2 next.
let's do it.
So, what's different? Got some different
Uh
looking locations out here, right?
Yes, so same as the previous one, we have new versions of each of these four locations, and they are individually randomly chosen. And yeah, let's just go through them all. I think these ones are very interesting, I think, if I recall.
Sticky
All right,
goop. What?
sticky goop. Oh yeah, sticky goop. So yeah, if there are no clues, you can get sticky goop. You have to put a doom on location, but you get sticky goop. And you know, who wouldn't want sticky goop?
Especially in your canteen.
Indeed. If you fail a skill test while investigating subterranean swamp, you have to lose everything, or if you do not have a pocket knife, lose all actions. So there's a secret apex predator in the swamp.
That makes sense. I like it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
The vast passages is the same.
Right.
And so we go to the ruins of Kinyan. 4 shroud, 2 per clues. You'll note that the 2 pers are now at the front as opposed to the
Ooh.
back, which is very interesting.
Okay. Harkens back to
Double
what I said
action, check your
before.
supplies. Yeah. If you have a compass, you discover 2 clues. They listened.
Yay!
Yay, more upsides for having supplies. Love it.
And a fair cost, like 2 actions. That's good.
Exactly. It's just 2 testless clues. Pretty nice.
Mhm.
Chthonian Depths. What the frick? Force. After the last clue is discovered from Chthonian Depths, check your supplies. If no one has the torches, place a doom on it.
That
Guess
art
there's
is
some weird things
terrifying.
going on. I
Yeah.
know, that's Jesus Christ.
Ew.
That's disgusting.
This is fine.
Yeah,
like,
cool.
again, the one doom rarely matters.
Yep. And I normally take torches, so this might not even matter that much, but
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Ooh, don't do clue drop here.
oh god.
You
Yeah.
can grief your teammates. Okay.
Yep. Treacherous Descent, 6 shroud. But
Ooh.
you can check the supplies, and if you have a pickaxe, you reduce the shroud value of Treacherous Descent by 2 for the remainder of the scenario, going all the way down to 0 if you need to.
What? Group limit 3 times per game?
Yeah, you mined out the descent.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. Actually, I mean, it's cool. I mean, like, I think that, you know, if you give the pickaxe to someone who isn't your fighter, it's kind of weird. Like, your seeker might have a pickaxe, but honestly, this might just be worth it. Like, you can you get 0 shroud stuff, can really mess with a lot of things. So I don't know.
I feel like I haven't seen this before. I just don't remember. Okay, I like it.
Yeah. That's all the locations. We got the new Harbinger of Velusia, which we've already seen,
Mhm.
which this point might have some damage on it, so it might actually flip at this point, I think.
I think so. I think this is a scenario where you might want it to flip, or already
Yeah,
has.
totally.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, we have the new exploration rules, so no encounter cards in the exploration deck, and they go in after you succeed. Also, actually, I forgot to talk about this before, but the Mouth of Kinyan in the first scenario has one of those actions that we didn't even talk about.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a compass, and you do the map thing from the first scenario.
oops.
Yeah. Anyway, so same thing here. If you have a map, you can do the map action from any location now.
Okay.
Which was the same for Heart of Rails Part 1.
Right. All right.
Other than that, we got the normal return to encounter cards that we've already talked about as well. Vengeful Serpent, which is cool that this one has Vengeance 0 in this one. It can join the other serpents, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
It'll come back.
I come back. Let's see. This guy is cool in this scenario, if I recall. So basically, it's like this guy. I feel like okay. Normally, okay. What was the last time we saw him? We saw him in Doom of Esley, correct?
Mhm.
So in that scenario, it's actually fairly likely that you have a location that has at least one clue that isn't your location. It's possible that you can't, but there might be. In this scenario, you are clearing off the clues a lot. And so this guy usually just spawns with you, or maybe not spawn at all.
And he makes it harder to get out.
Correct. So it's interesting. I think it's interesting. Cool.
I don't think I asked this before, or maybe I did. It's been a while. What is he doing in the art?
I think he's pulling something out of a bag.
To me, I always thought it looked like he's got a measuring tape and he's figuring out the circumference of this rock.
The heck?
I don't know what it is.
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean he's a statue. We talked about that last time, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I don't know.
it's weird. Wrath of Yig is a little tricky, I think, in this one because of the vengeance thing from the previous scenario, but okay.
Okay, it's pretty all right. That's it, I think.
I think so too. I don't think there's any other changes. So
Nope.
a nice return to because it didn't try to fix anything that was broken because there wasn't anything, and it gave us some new locations, which is good.
Yes, I will say, it is a little unfortunate that the sticky goop is a 50-50 chance.
True. Yeah.
Because
So you don't get all this whole set. You get a random one for each of the icons.
yes, it would have been nice if the sticky goop was you could reliably get the sticky goop for reasons.
That just sounds so strange when we don't get to like tell you what it means. Sticky goop is good. Okay.
It is good.
That's it. Again, the next scenario is going to be a thing to talk about. So look out for our discussion of scenario 6, City of Archives.
Yeah.